Awesome. Mine too. Was it rainy? Anybody? Action? What do we do? Open houses, prospecting, new conversations, sleep in, pick your nose. Anybody? Alyssa, how are you? Welcome. What you been doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. I was quite busy with a couple of buyers. One is looking to develop, so I did a lot of back and forth with the city and how long the permits are taking now, and he's looking to get some geotech opinions and all that. So getting that all together was quite a bit of work.
Right.
I actually do have a question. So if you were to bring, let's say, 3 geotechs for the client to get quotes, you yourself don't get quotes from them, right?
You just connect. Yeah, you're just the conduit to connect them. You don't actually. You just offer opportunities for them to have a conversation, and whoever kind of bids, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I draw that line where he understands that this is what I do, and I'm not gonna, jump in on the development project myself.
Good idea. Yeah, you're definitely. It can be biased, right? So you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
And do you know how much info will city disclose in terms of if the previous owner applied for the permits? I know for City of Surrey, there's mapping website where you can actually see the development projects, development applications that are currently in the process, but they don't show anything as to the canceled applications or not complete applications.
Depends on the city, I think. Really, I think some certain ones. It depends on the person at the city. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go in there, win some favors. They'll disclose more than they may should, or what they're allowed, and you. Yeah, most of that should be public record, but depending again on what's going on. Sorry, close the door.
Yeah, well, when it comes to cities, they sort of have a mandate. The less they disclose, the better. They don't want to be held to any type of liability. So you really need to kind of do your own homework, because they'll give you some basic information, but they're not going to give you a whole lot of info, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I thought I was muted. All right, I'm almost free. Hi. These little humans are leaving in a minute, and I'll be more focused. Anyone else? What's going on with your weekend? Any plans this week? Everyone get their 411s done? Awkward silence.
I took some buyers out to go look at a church.
No way.
No, I think it was Maple. It literally had pews in it and everything. I mean, I tried to tell them, I was like, you guys realize this is a church? They said yes, they still wanted to see it, and we got there, and sure enough, it was a church.
As advertised.
Yeah. They're like, this isn't what we expected. I was like, I told you it was a church.
Oh my God. Is it a house converted into a church? Is that what they were hoping?
I think that's what they're thinking about doing, but it looks like the property next to it, which is really close to it, is looking to just release that part of their property. It's on like a 1/8 or 0.8 of an acre. So I think they're just trying to really.
Yeah. Does it come with a steeple?
It did have a little point on it, with a church and or like a cross, which was, I thought I was going to burn up when I walked in. It was. But,
how about you guys go and I'll just stay on the porch? Let me know how it feels.
Right? I'll stay from here. Yeah. But on other notes, I signed a listing contract this morning and taking a couple of buyers. I took them out all weekend and then taking them out this afternoon. Possibility of writing 2 more offers later on today. We'll see.
Very cool, man. Good job, Brent. Busy.
Yeah.
We get Laura's message. Everyone else, are you able to turn your cams on?
Yeah, if you're able, we want to know that you're here, but also participate. You can unmute. This is as close as we get to a classroom setting for the moment. So jump in, chime in. Yeah, share some wins or ahas you guys had this weekend. Thanks, Brian. That's great. It's funny, you can specialize. There are a few people that specialize in churches. Not something I would ever go down that road with, but obviously the Catholic Church they have so much money to be spent, right? And they're always shopping in buildings. So it's something that, if that was your realm, but again, you could do it for your own culture, your own beliefs. But there's just a niche there that you guys don't really think about until you're exposed to it. So obviously that wasn't what your clients were thinking, but at the same time, there are people that go out there. It's like a specific type of property that can house a church. So, or commercial or industrial, whatever world you want to work in, is definitely an opportunity to kind of expand your just normal residential real estate or whatever your brain is focusing on, that narrow path. Like, think outside the box. That's my point. Welcome, Colin. How's it going? All right, just watching, learning, listening. Yeah. So, anyone else? Any big wins over the weekend or ahas, or give me a temperature of the market?
I did another open home on Saturday with Wolby. I got to know his brain, so it's really good to actually sit in one of those and then see what the experts are up to. So when the people came in, were they represented always, or? Some of them weren't unrepresented. Everyone who came in, we got them to check in, and then if we noticed that they weren't represented, then Wolby would take note of that as well. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of a common conversation though, as they come in, you quickly gather whether they're working with someone and then determine how aggressive you're going to be and so forth. Not all of us have been on the call when we've done the open house scripting, but it's really important. You got about 15 seconds to build rapport and determine if they're working with a realtor, maybe even less. And if a couple, 2-3 groups come at the same time, how are you going to do that without sounding like a robot, but also making sure that you determine who the lead is. So separating the wheat from the herd, however you want to play that. But that's a really important skill set to manage. And open houses are becoming more and more of a thing again, which is great. We have almost had 18 months without open houses. And that's, for new agents, I find one of the best ways to find new business opportunities. People are out shopping. So if people are offering open houses, jump on it. Be the first to respond, or go to teams and ask if you can, what would they need support with? Can I shadow even? Can I just see how your team works? With feedback for open houses. So if Michael were to host an open house on his own, how would you as the listing agent like to get the feedback? This is a group. I'm not going to tell you what we expect or other agents expect. I want you guys to mastermind right now real quick. Just throw some ideas out, unmute. What would be a good chance of getting reapplying and getting the job again for hosting an open house for a team? Like, what kind of feedback should you be giving, when, that sort of thing? How?
I try and collect all the numbers from the realtors so that the listing agent has a contact and can follow up. I guess that kind of answers your question, but not.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Keep going. That's a one part of it, right? Anyone else? There's no right or wrong here. It's how would you like to be the listing agent, and what kind of information would you like it? When would you like it? You're going to go back to your clients, and someone else hosted your own open house. You're like, well, I think there's a few people that came through. Or
maybe they're saying, oh, I think it's overpriced, or that kind of feedback is useful to the agent. They didn't like how the kitchen was renovated, or too many stairs, or maybe that kind of information might be useful.
Yeah. So I'll put an asterisk. So when you say it's overpriced, it's fine to say so go into a seller. This is just information you guys can take. When you go to your seller and say they thought it was overpriced, it's like, oh, thank you. And then now you're doing this with your seller, really. So if you say they felt that at the current price, the value for outdated flooring, or it didn't match the current values from what they expected because of this, then you're interpreting what this buyers are saying for them in a non-threatening manner. If it's overpriced, it's like, well, what are we going to do? And then you get your sellers doing this versus like, okay, well, they actually expected, an updated kitchen at this price point compared to the other homes that have sold in the area at this price that have newer renos or whatever, right? So that's just a way of articulating it to your seller, or again, you can even help the agent by articulating it that way when you're giving feedback. So what else?
I usually mention demographics, how many groups came in, were they younger couples or were they older couples with kids, how many kids, what they liked about the house. Because I find people that come in and some of them, they just upfront say, we're here for ideas. We liked what we saw in the pictures, and some of them are doing renos and they're just there to kind of,
Steal some ideas.
Look for ideas, yeah.
Yeah, so demographics is huge. Like, how many people do they have? Kids? Were they professionals? Were they like what type of people are coming through? It's great for a listing agent just to know who they're marketing to, so then they can maybe do a social media post or whoever. And maybe I'm not targeting senior citizens, and I'm going with young kids or whatever, right? So first-time buyers. So what else? Couple more. Crickets today, guys. I'm gonna put on coffee. I'll throw coffee at the screen. I don't know what to do.
Maybe
So
like one common thing that kept getting commented on for feedback, like something, obviously if something's wrong with the house or like something that people are noticing, but even like a positive thing too that everybody commonly noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just finding. Let's say you had 10 groups through, just round numbers. 3 of them said overpriced because of this. 3 of them said, really like the layout or whatever. And like, yeah, so and then that way you don't have to like say it every time, but here's the one person that is serious. Okay. So these people showed the most interest. I want that as the listing agent. I want to know who I need to really focus on, right? So more feedback around the interest level of parties, perhaps, right? Something like that. And are people pre-approved? Like, where people are at in the stage of their, like, this is all really, like, if you picked up a buyer, great, let us know that, so that I obviously feel good for you, but also can help the listing agent say, okay, well, maybe we can help you write an offer for our property too, right? What do you need out of us to make them come to the next level to actually be more motivated? So that kind of stuff. But more importantly, timing. When do you get that information back to the listing agent, and how?
Right away.
Sooner
Right after, over the text message.
So here's a way to do it in a system that allows you to do it right away. So on my phone, in my notes, or in an email template, I'm going to write, okay, group number 1, young couple, 2 kids, like the flooring, didn't like the layout, didn't, boom. Next, group 2, listing agent or buyer's agent was Almond Bra. Here's his phone number. Young couple, pregnant, had to leave, whatever, right? Like all these, and then I would just copy that note and I would forward it off to the listing agent at 4:02, and then I go grab my signs. Thank you so much. I've left a note for the sellers to say thank you for the opportunity to host your open house. It shows beautifully. You have a lovely home. Good luck with the sale. Hope to host again soon. Something like that. Leaving a note for the sellers. Nice touch, right? Again, just being grateful with the opportunity to host and that sort of thing. So just some ideas. But again, you get good feedback from the sellers to the listing agent of how professional you were to host the open house. You get hired again. right? You guys are interviewing every day for everything you ever do, just so you know, right? So we had one guy on our, you guys know Rod Cotteswell? If you don't, it's okay. He was on our coaching. He's with Solutions right now. He's just like the best guy at giving feedback ever. And like kind of that system of just, he would take really, really good notes and would give really good feedback to the open house, from the open house to the listing agent right away. And so if you ever want to just figure that out, just ask Rod what he does, and, you know, just focus on that kind of stuff. And it really does help as a system for you to stay on top of it. If it's your listing, you should be doing the same thing. You would want to give that feedback directly to your seller that way, right? So anyhow, thoughts on that? I think we beat it to death. Moving on. Anyone else want to chime in?
Sorry, I was just going to say before you move on, I just launched a real quick poll here about what you guys want to focus on today. So if you click the activities tab in the bottom right corner, you'll see polls, the third option. Just click on there and select what you guys want to focus on. And then we'll come back to it in about 5 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, dude. Yeah, due to the fact that we have a variety of agents on here, we've got brand new and a few years into the business, we'll say. So trying to match what everybody's needs are. We can also break out into some breakout rooms as well. So who here has completed their 411? Laura, thank you. Looks good. Amen, thank you. Yeah, Allison, good. Michael, you've done it? Yeah, awesome. Okay. Anybody else? I can't see everybody's cameras. Some of people are off, but I trust that. Do you have it now? Your 401, have we moved your 401 into your Google Calendar yet? So have you taken the activities on the weekly activity and plunked them into your schedule? Okay, so who here is using Google Calendar or Outlook or whatever calendar to run their business, to run their lives, I should say? Slow hand raise, Allison. So this is the key to success in real estate. Like Gary Keller says, it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. And you'll sell a crap ton of real estate if you follow that schedule. You just submit to that schedule. You also get free time. So here's a poll real quick. Who got into real estate for freedom? Well, we all thought we did, right? Oh yeah, you got a 24/7 job, by the way. So who got in here for financial freedom? So who knows the difference?
So there's time freedom and then financial freedom. Financial freedom, you don't have to worry about expenses, whereas time freedom, you want to open up your, well, if people are working their 9 to 5 still, at least move from their 9 to 5 to do this more full time. You'll open up at least 40 hours, but you'll be working those 40 hours on real estate.
Yeah, when you want though. You can do CMAs at 3 in the morning, right? You can do a lot of the back end stuff at whatever schedule you like. Here's the thing: is that your financial freedom is indicated by the amount of effort you put into the right activities. You guys can have freedom, which means you can go to the mall, you can go to play golf or do all these fun things, whatever it is that you like doing in your pastimes, whenever you want. But if you don't do the other activities to get you to financial freedom, then you really, yeah, you're free, but you're broke. And that's just unfortunate. So the idea is that you create your perfect schedule, right? So you've got your 411 of the things that must be in your schedule. And I'd say that if you were to design your perfect day, perfect week, what are the fun things you want to do? Where are your holidays? Where are your vacations in your month and your year? Like plunk those in and you work towards those first, right? So taking personal time and vacation time into your schedule. No one just like creates a schedule and go, oh, I'll fit in a vacation. It'll show up, because it doesn't. I promise you, if you don't put it in there first, you don't time block your time for yourself, your physical health, your emotional health, your family, your vacation, all these things, work will take over, because we tend to get busy doing busyness activities versus business activities. And, you know, I can give you 100 examples of a busyness activity, but you know what it isn't, right? It's not the 5 things. So everybody here, if you know them off by heart, don't say it, but who knows the 5 most important activities in real estate to get you paid the highest price per hour? If you know them off by heart, don't share it. I want the people that are trying to figure this out to unmute and help out, and we'll get you there. But what do you think are the 5 items?
Prospecting,
Lead
prospecting.
All right. Lead generation, prospecting, correct. That's one of them.
Follow up.
Follow up, crucial.
Systems.
Systems. No, sorry. I just said following systems and models is very important, but that is yeah, that's just part of your journey, I will say.
Writing contracts.
Writing contracts and negotiating offers. Okay.
Prospecting.
Already
You
said it.
Oh,
What do you do when you talk to a bunch of people, then you follow up with them?
Networking.
Well, that would be prospecting, really. But so I
lead gen.
follow up with lead gen is prospecting. I follow up with the people, and then I set
Appointments.
appointments and go in on appointments and show houses, buyer tours, buyer consultations, listing appointments. So that's the work, the job of going out, the fun stuff, right? Where you get to perform, where you're out showing houses and listing appointments. Okay. Last one. The most important one, by the way. It's interesting that here we sit.
Scripting.
Scripting, role play, practicing our conversations, right? So those are the 5 most important things you must do every day. And until you are so busy, you can't keep up. And then you're obviously having systems and models to carry you through the next level and break through that ceiling sort of thing. So here's the thing, is that if you don't have any listing appointments or buyer consultations to go on, or contracts to write or negotiate, so those are really those 2 things, right? If you don't have those 2 things, what should you be doing all day, every day?
And lead gen.
Scripting.
Scripting, I would say first and foremost. Lead gen, thank you. And F you.
Follow up.
Follow up, thank you. So if I had a perfect schedule from my 411 and I would leave time for appointments and negotiating. And I was at the office last night at 9 o'clock, didn't get to put my kids to bed. We were in multiple offers, so we had to sit with our sellers. So I got to FaceTime my kids to bed, but you leave time, hopefully not so late usually, that just happened to be the sellers had a situation, but you leave time for negotiating, writing offers, going on listing appointments, going to buyer consults, buyer tours. But if you don't have those in your day, you should probably do more of these 3 things, right? So in a perfect world, you're gonna do half an hour of scripting and role play. You're gonna do a few hours, 2, 3, 4 hours of lead gen until you just burn out for the day. And then a bit of follow-up, maybe writing handwritten notes, getting them into your database, right? So actually taking time to put people into your CRM properly so you can follow up in a meaningful way. How many hours is that a day of work?
Couple?
Well, I would say at the beginning of your career, if your head's not to the grindstone and grinding 3-4 hours of prospecting every day, you're going to slowly get busier. You're going to maybe fail the business, maybe make it. I don't know. Does anyone want to risk that? So I would say 2-3 hours a day minimum of prospecting every day, right? 15 hours a week, say, give or take. You got open houses, you got like different ways to do it. But if you're not doing those 3 activities daily, and you don't have the listing appointments or contract writing, you really only have, let's say 4.5 hours of work a day. And then there's other stuff. I understand that you guys are new, so you have to do some educational stuff, do stuff like this, do, maybe create Facebook pages and other stuff. But that's like, if you didn't do that, would you still make money? If you didn't have the shiniest business card or sign or Facebook page or whatever, but you prospected, would you still definitely be in the business in 2 years? 1,000%. You can pay someone $200 to go make your Facebook page or your business cards or your blah, 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 whatever, right? All those things can be done. And your $200 an hour job doing your lead gen, follow-up, and scripting must be in your schedule daily, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. So, but it's your 401. You put it in when you want to do it, how you want to do it, where you want to do it. And that calendar will either equal massive success or it'll equal freedom, right? So it's your choice if you want financial freedom at the end of it or you want freedom in general. And it's really, no one's going to tell you what to do, right? Our coaching, our brokerage, your friends, your family, if you were to show your schedule to your kids or your husband or wife or someone, your parents, someone that really, really cares about you and say, this is what I'm doing right now for my work, would you be proud of it? Would they be proud of you?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And I actually believe you, Allison, for sure. But
Because it's hustle. It's all the stuff you're talking about is the no fun stuff. So you should be proud of someone enduring all that, right? It's not fun lead generating.
Yeah, well, it's who here has worked manual labor, right? Who here has had a job they really didn't like, working for someone else, doing just a crappy, low-level job? We all did it at some point. I don't care, flipping burgers, whatever it is. You at some point, all of us on this call, did a job we didn't really enjoy for a menial wage, and there was no joy in it. Fair? And how many hours a day did you do that job? Like, I went to Red Robin yesterday with my family. I used to work at Red Robin. I was in the dish pit. I was on the fry. I bartended. I served. I did all this. Like, I worked there for just over a couple of years. But like, that was a crappy job. I loved it because I was young and I didn't care and didn't know any better, and I just got to, goof around. But that's like it's not good work. Sit in the dish pit at 10 o'clock at night when I'd rather be doing anything else with my life, getting, I don't know what I was making, $12 an hour or something. It's sad. It's sad to me. But at the end of the day, think about it. That job sucked for 8 hours a day. You're going to do 2 or 3 hours of like uncomfortableness, right? Of prospecting, but you're really having conversations with people, and then you get to meet some really nice people. And they look at you as a professional, and they can do some really fun stuff, taking them out to buy homes and list properties and making ridiculous amounts of money for doing something that's a little uncomfortable. That makes sense? Like, for me, it's whatever the pain of feeling a little uncomfortable, putting yourself out there, asking for business versus the pain of being free and comfortable. It's always going to outweigh it for me to be uncomfortable. So I hope you guys find ways to make yourself uncomfortable every day, little by little, becoming more uncomfortable until you just be comfortable being uncomfortable. If that makes sense. Kelly Fry, raise a hand. Sorry, I got a little on a tangent there. What's up, Kelly Fry team? Is that Nick? Who's that? Matt?
Oh, this is Elisa.
Elisa, hi.
Hi. No, actually, I think I just had it accidentally at the end.
No worries. Cool. All right, did we get that poll sorted?
Yep. So it looks like listings was the top pick, followed by CMAs and then follow up.
Yeah. So listing presentation, which we've done 2 weeks ago, was it? I think 3 weeks ago, maybe. So, I mean, we can do it again. I feel like there are a few taped versions of the exact same thing if you guys want to watch a listing presentation. So I probably want to do listing presentation today, but I will Just give him a sec here. What else can we do with listings? Feel free to chime in what you like out of listings aside from that. We can go to listing contract, which I think Carol does a really good job tomorrow of Tuesday contracts. So it's not necessarily. Here's what we can do. We'll play with this for a bit. So is everyone clear on their 401 just before I get away from that? Like how important it is to take that 401, stick it into your calendar, make the perfect calendar for you, and then follow it, and you will have much success. If you don't have the 401, let us know. We can send it to you too, okay? So everybody can see this. Click on this. So everyone is aware of, who here has not read the MREA yet? Who does not have a copy of it? If you don't have it, please raise your hand. How's that? Or put it in the chat. Allison, you don't have a copy of the MREA? Okay. Put your name in the group chat if you don't have the MREA, and we're going to get Ron to get you guys a copy. You can get it immediately if you email. It's the easiest way to do it. Email Carla, and she will. You can get one, so you can buy them on Amazon for like $23, but we could get them for $15 through your staff account. So just put it on your staff account, or you can go talk to Ron, sweet talk him, and he'll probably just give you one. But you got to catch him, and you got to just kind of hint at it. Ron said he'll give you one. Just got to go pick it up. There you go. Ron will give you a red book for free. If you want to make sure you get it at a certain time, you can go in and just ask for it. I want everyone speaking the same language around this stuff. The reason is it's a manual. Okay, so it's literally a how to run a real estate business book, and it's not just any KW book. It's step by step on how to run a real estate business like a business, and they've taken hundreds of teams and top agents and taken all their systems and then found the common denominator in every market, in every city, in every type of team. And what do they do that's consistently the same? And they go, okay, well, this works in every city anywhere. Yeah, Christina, I appreciate you're quite new, and we'll get you moving forward. Okay, so yeah, if you were to read another book, it could be like, hey, Chris Ackerman wrote a book, and I'll tell you, if you do what I do, you're going to be successful. And that's a lot of how-to books or kind of egotistical written books. So like if you follow my systems, you're going to do great. But if you don't have my personality type or some of the other traits that someone has done at a high level, you may not actually be successful. And it may not work in certain markets or certain types of properties or whatever. But if you do these things, and it's not actually for real estate, it's for anything. Like if I were to start a landscaping business or a plumbing business or a law firm, and I took leads, it wouldn't be listings, it'd be clients and leverage, I could put that into any business model and it would be successful. And that's the cool part about this book and this industry in general. You guys are getting grassroots education on how to build a business if you follow the systems. So doing this at a high level in 3 to 5 years, you guys are going to be able to take any knowledge you have about real estate and put that into any other business you've ever wanted to start. And it should be successful if you follow the system. Does that make sense? So it's a huge opportunity when you follow the system to be able to implement the simple version of who knows the value of a lead, right? A prospect, right? And so who knows the value of a client? So lead to client, like how much time, how much energy, what does that take to get to that point? So a listing is a client, we'll say, and then leverage of who knows the value of leverage, right? And so if you look at a lead, you know, you can get 100 leads online today and maybe 2, 3 of them turn into a potential listing or buyer client. The listings are what we focus on. And because when you take a listing, you should get 3 new pieces of business from every listing. So who knows where the other pieces of business come from with a listing? Fire them off. This is where you unmute and participate. It's so much more fun in a room, you guys. You gotta participate. There's 7 opportunities really to get a new piece of business from taking a listing. What are a few of them?
Door knocking beforehand.
Yeah, knocking the just listed open house and a neighbor, right? Picking up a new listing, or potentially a neighbor knows a friend that wants to move into the neighborhood, or the neighbor wants to buy and you sell and you get two pieces of business there. Okay. So knocking.
Just sold.
Just sold. Same thing. Just, I mean, we just say knocking, just listed, just sold. But yeah, just sold would be now you could go out and pick up a seller saying, hey, well, we got a 200 over asking. Would you also like that? Okay. All right. So like, we're going to go do that today with that multiple yesterday for the team, right? So make flyers, send them out. They'll go knock 100 doors, probably pull 1-2 pieces of business out of that right there every time. What else?
Seller buying a property.
That's the no-brainer, right? So the sellers come in and then they're now going to purchase with you, right? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're getting out of the market or moving elsewhere. You may get a referral fee. You never know. Or renting, who knows? But okay, 3. What else?
Open house leads.
Open house leads, absolutely. 4. What do you put in the dirt out front?
For sale sign.
Ooh, what happens when someone walks by or drives by and sees your sign up front?
Sign calls.
Sign calls. There you go. 5. What else? Do you promote it? Where do you market it? REW, Realtor.ca, Craigslist. Internet leads, just going to tell you, moving forward, someone calls from the internet and they say, hey, I saw your listing. I would like to come and view it. Oh, I don't want that one. Can you sell me this one over here? Sure, sign, check, boom, right? There's 6. I'll give you the last one. So it's upstream marketing. So your sellers are moving and then you're going to go out and you're going to promote where they're going to. So let's say they want to move from one house to the next neighborhood. You go and flyer the next neighborhood and find opportunities for them to move into that one. So, but all those are like any one can happen. Usually 2 or 3 will happen, right? Definitely the seller likely to buy with you. Open house leads, very possible. Sign calls for sure. Internet leads for sure, right? But it's on you to convert those into pieces of business. And one of the things about being in a really strong seller's market is you don't have a lot of time to pick up those leads because boom, they're sold. We had a listing that went live on last week, Thursday. We had an offer on Saturday, and Allison did the open house for us on Saturday. The offer was accepted by Saturday night. By the time Laura was there to the open, we already had an accepted offer, which is great for backup offers. And it also is like, hey, you should have been working with a realtor and you would have actually had a chance at this property, but you came in kicking tires instead of being prepared, having your finances in order and so forth. And then now you're like the rest of the public who misses out on these opportunities, not working with a solid agent like myself to go out and actually make sure you see the homes first, not waiting for the open houses. That's the script, more or less. So yeah, 7 opportunities from listings. So if you have a buyer, what are the opportunities from having a buyer? They purchase with you. You go market to wherever they're going. You can do some online stuff. Hey, we've got a buyer looking for an area like in these areas, but like pretty weak, not likely to turn into new business. Cause like, well, if you have a buyer, why do I want you to represent me? Right? Aside unless it's your farm area and really you can't double end anymore. So there's almost no opportunity to leverage buyers. Does that make sense? Does that really hit home how important listings are? You must take listings to survive in any market and to have a quality of life. So who knows how much time you spend with a buyer, especially in this market? Who's got a buyer that's been running around town for 3+ months? I have people like we're over the year mark, right? So do you want to add up on average how many hours you spend with a buyer? Probably not. You'll start to question your career choice, but it's probably 30 to 40 hours. And in a strong seller's market like this, it could be 50 plus. Does that sound fair? Sucks, but it's still a decent paycheck. Let's not get like 50 hours, you make $10,000. It's like, you know, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's the point. And having really good scripts and objection handlers and being able to say no and explain why they're not even close to being able to compete with an offer situation. Those are pretty good skills to be able to carve some of that time back off of buyers. But at the end of the day, you're still, let's just say it's 40 hours average for a buyer, right? So your hourly rate sucks compared to listings, at least. Fair? So how many hours do you think you spend on a listing? So listing appointment, doing your CMA and whatnot, and doing the paperwork, getting it onto marketing, or get it onto command, marketing it, showing it, open houses, negotiating, closing, all in. How many hours?
16.
I think that's high. I think that's in a seller's market, no way. In a you know, average balanced or buyer's market, yeah, easily. But I would say more than likely it's around 8 is average, right? And I'll take listings. I don't like the one on Parkview. I'm at 3 hours right now, and it's done. Think about that. And I'll obviously my team will do a little bit of it, but like let's say it's 6 hours max, right? So what's your hourly rate for that? Do I control my time? Is the real question. So I know when I'm going to do my open houses. I can book my schedule. I know when I'm going to do my listing appointment. I know when I'm going to do these things. So I control my life with listings. I have the ability to say no. I can change times for showings. I can do that. I run my life with listings. Who here has had a buyer call them and say, hey, can we go see this property tomorrow? Right in the middle of family time, health time, anything on your 401 that's not work-related time. Think about that. How do buyers like get into your head at 10 o'clock at night? Look at this property, right? Has anyone not experienced that? Like they just send over an R number and go, what about this? And you're like, this is what happens with buyers. It's still shit. Sorry. It's still very distractive. And here's a listing that the buyer's agent's calling me. So they do distract you here and there. They can't protect your time 100%, but let's just say 80% of your time is protected with listings and you control your schedule. That's the mindset I want you guys to really harness. When you take listings, you have control of your life, you have quality of life, you have everything going for you. And you have the ability to leverage the listings. I can take the listings, I can give them to teammates, and then they can make money, and then I can make money from the teammates making money. All these things happen, right? You have enough listings, you get enough leads, and then this is where the triangle comes back around again. And then it just starts to feed itself and perpetuates forward. Does that make sense? So it is crucial that we focus on listing leads. And the buyer leads, of course, we take care of them. But at some point, you have to decide, am I going to be a listing agent or am I going to be a buyer's agent? Because listing agents survive and buyer's agents tend to fail out of the business because they hate their life, for one thing. It's not quality time spent, a lot of time spent, not a lot of results. And they don't have time to do anything else. So they feel like they're working 80 hours a week to do, probably make less money than someone who lists homes and does 40 hours, 30 hours a week. Does that make sense? Does it bother you? Is it exciting to go out and go take listings like it's your job? So how do you get better at taking listings? So here, sorry, I probably should have done this with the group. So subject property sells, the buyers, sellers buy the next home, find a neighbor who's selling, the buyer calls on the listing and you convert it. find a buyer for the home. So you can get a referral from open houses, whatnot, upstream, like we mentioned, Craigslist, so internet. Oh yeah, then you sell the listing. So there's actually kind of 8 really, but opportunities for business. So how do we get better at taking listings? How do we prepare to be a successful listing agent?
Chris, I often can get an opportunity to come in and someone will let me look around their house and they're curious about what it's worth. And so I'll do a CMA and I'll provide them a lot of great information. But where I fail at closing is I'm unable to get them past like, oh, I just wanted to know what my place is worth into, yeah, I'm ready to list. So I'm really weak in that. I can often get listing appointments, but I can't get them past that point.
So one thing is to qualify, is it a listing appointment with a motivated seller or is it a CMA to give them an update on what their home is worth?
And I guess I'm kind of using a CMA to try and get myself my foot in the door. So maybe that's where I'm failing, is I'm not qualifying.
It's well spent time at the beginning of your career, by the way, because think about this. Let's say that you did 1 CMA appointment a day, 5 days a week. And they're all people that aren't really ready to list, but let's say 1 out of the 5 is motivated enough to go, hey, that's a pretty good number. If you could get that for us, we'll sign. So you take 1 listing a week of the 5. So if you guys were to offer every single person just a quick 15-minute market evaluation to see if I could get in, sit at the kitchen table with them, show them what you do to market, and then say, okay, well, here's what the home is worth right now today. If you just offer that every day, and let's say you did 1 listing appointment a day, it's like an hour a day, walk through the home, do the consultation, and then you're out. But so you got 5 a week, 1 turns into a listing a week, that's 4 listings a month. It's outstanding, started. But those other 4 people go into your follow-up plan. So now that you've been in their house, you're their realtor if you stay in touch forever, right? If you stay in touch, you put them on a follow-up plan, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 3 years, they call you and go, hey, can you come over again? We'd like to list now. You've already seen our house, right? You're inviting them to events or just whatever it is to stay on top of them. But now all of a sudden, those people just start falling out of the sky going, hey, come list me, come list me. So it's absolutely great to go and do that. And you're learning how to do CMA. So you're practicing your presentation. All these things are awesome skills for you to own. So if you just went out and offered to do free CMAs to everyone you know, no strings attached, no obligation, how many appointments could you set a week?
I mean, you could set as many as you're doing, essentially, if they all committed.
But yeah, and just again, with the mindset of like, I just want to come over and add value to your life and show you what your home is worth today. I'm not expecting to list your home. I just want to kind of get an idea of what is out there on the market. So it's good for me for my research, and I'm sure it's great for you to have some information about what your home's worth today. No strings attached. Do you have 15 minutes? Do you have any extra questions that might go a little bit longer, but I can be done in 15 minutes? When do you have time? Okay, sure, why not? All right, great. Go over there, make sure both decision makers are there. You go over there, you build great rapport. Probably takes an hour because they ask lots of questions. You get to hang out for a while. You now have people that you're following up with the rest of your career that turn into lifelong clients. So it's not, I have to go over there to list a home. And I love the fact that you're like, okay, these people aren't motivated. That's great, but you're not failing by going to do that. That's my point, is that you're actually, 1, building a very strong skill, 2, creating relationships that you'll, as long as you follow up, is yours to keep. So how do you prepare for that appointment? How do you prepare to be ready to go do that with confidence? Here's the thing, is that most new agents don't ask for that appointment because what happens if they say yes? What happens if they actually invite me over? What will I do? I don't have anything prepared. I don't know what to say. What will happen? I'll look foolish. I don't want to look bad. That's why people don't ask for the business. That's why they don't go and do what we just talked about. Just, hey, can I come over and do a quick CMA? So how can you prepare to make sure you can?
Script.
Role play the hell out of your listing presentation. If you don't have one, make one. But more importantly, if you don't have one at all and you get that appointment, call someone. You have several coaches. You have people that are mentors in this brokerage who would love to go with you for a listing appointment. And it'll be 50-50. You guys okay to watch a few pros do their work and learn from it if you were to set the appointment? I'm still willing to. I'll go sit with Josh and shut up and be a fly on the wall, right? I'll sit with like Kelly Fry or Trevor Street or whoever, and like there's people, Denny and like so many people. Just wherever the house is that you call, whoever's the kind of top agent or brokerage that you think would be a good fit for that type of person, ask them to come with you, and they'll do their listing presentation, and you just get to hang out and take some notes and kind of build rapport without having to stress, and you get paid, and then they'll go into their system. You actually don't have to do jack after that. So imagine here's a business model. I just talked to a whole bunch of people, set listing appointments, called Josh or me or whoever, and say, hey, I got a listing appointment. Would you like to come with me? And I go over there with you, and we close it, and it goes into our system, and you get to see how it all gets done and processed and all that stuff. You get 50% of it. What was your hourly rate? You made the call. You went on the appointment. You can be a part of negotiating. You can be a part of everything that is important. You can host the open houses, get new leads. You get your sign out front and get sign calls, but you really don't do any more work after that. And then you get paid because it's really likely it's going to close because you're with an agent that's going to, price it properly and manage the expectations of the seller. So what's your hourly rate to go and prospect and bring it back and have the team leader close for you? It's about as good as it gets, guys. That's my point. It's about 3-4 hours of work and you'll have a really nice fat paycheck. So something to think about. Don't worry if you don't have your presentation together. If you want to just have someone come out and close for you, that's okay too. If you want to go out and fail forward, absolutely. Just please rehearse it as best as you can. But it might not be bad to shadow a few times just ahead of time, just to get it started. Make sense? So to prepare, obviously want to nail our listing presentation so that we feel confident enough to ask for the business, but you should feel confident now that you have someone that can do that for you and close. So don't use that as a crutch to not ask for business is my point. And if you want to do some homework ahead of time, you're going to talk to all the other agents in the neighborhood, in the complex, wherever that have sold and say, okay, so, or they're active, what's going on? How many showings have you had? What's the activity level like? What did you have several offers? Were they good, strong, over asking? Like as much detail as you can get out of each agent. Okay. Now, the sellers can't do that. So you've really got the upper hand in the knowledge. And like right now, sellers can go online. They can look at solds. They can look at stats. They can look at a lot of stuff that we can look at now that didn't used to be available to them. But they don't have access to the agents and the like in real time information, which is what you're bringing to the table. Doesn't take long, maybe 15 minutes, some touch bases, you chat a little bit, get some details. If you can, you've previewed some of the listings that are out there, the active listings. So you can say, I was in that house. They don't have this. They do have that. This is why this is kind of priced the way it is. You can go on Paragon to Autoprop and look up the zoning and bylaws. If it's strata, look at all the details around that and just come in well-informed. So probably a couple hours of knowledge gathering, research, information. So that's all stuff that'll stick with you for the rest of your career, and you can use it over and over again, especially if you sell more than one in the same complex. Now you just like know the bylaws, you know the history, you know the strata, know all these things, right? So this is an example of, this is in the wiki site. Those who don't know, wiki site's just it's a big library of information for you to leverage. So here's some of the things that you need for a new listing: a listing contract, the property disclosure statement if it's strata versus detached. Good to go through this a few times before you sit in front of a seller. So you might want to role play going through a PDS and read it. Don't make sure you have not gone to the house and never read a property disclosure statement and you try to go through with a seller. It's a good way to look like an ass. So prepare by practicing, right? You want to role play your listing contract, your PDS. This is, sorry, out of date. This is the privacy notice and consent, and the DORT, right? Not the working with a realtor anymore. This is the old version. Ours is still, it's changing all the time. So continuously reviewing the forms you're going to have them sign, going over them, and having a bit of a script or dialogue that you have with the form without just reading it verbatim, because no one wants that. So this is what this means in layperson terms. Sorry.
Hey,
FinTrack.
Chris, I'm
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt you. On the PDS, how much can you kind of give me a dialogue of what you say to people regarding radon?
Yeah, so radon is not something that's really of a concern in the lower mainland. It's more northern BC, some of the Caribou regions. But if you look at the map of radon, it's all out of our jurisdiction. So not really anything of concern. If you guys are going to be buying up in, I don't know, Prince George or the Caribou even, you might like take a peek at it. If it's something you're listing, it'd probably be more important. But yeah, it is a thing. Like radon's not a good thing to have in a home or a property or a common area, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not something down here to have any concern with. So it's just a BC wide form, but it really is not a big deal. Is that okay? Schleff it off. No biggie. Anyway, FinTrack, so you need to get the driver's license or a passport and understand what they do for a living, not just their job title, but the company name they work for, that kind of thing. And then you fill that out. The residential data input form. So in there, you'll want to, I'll show you the next slide. Actually, it's very helpful, or sorry, the next form to fill this out specifically. So you want to get as much detail as you can from the seller while you're at the house the first time. So you have to keep calling back like, oh, by the way, what kind of floors are those? Or how old is your chimney or whatever, right? What type of fireplace is that? That shows that you didn't pay attention. So residential realtor remarks versus public remarks. So you might just put some of these in there, the restrictions or bylaws, storage lockers or stalls with strata, measurements are approximate, any team declaration, that kind of stuff. And then public remarks, like this is where you really shine as a marketing for a listing. This is where if you can write a beautiful description of a property that's immediately draws people in, it's exciting, and it's not just like this home has an open floor plan. It's like, what does that do for people, right? It's what's the benefit in that for them? So like we used to play a game like, okay, so what is a big backyard? What does that mean to a family? So just chime in right now. Like, what does a big backyard mean for you? And everyone's different, so just feel free to shout it out.
Playtime for my kids.
Perfect. What else?
Room for my dogs to run.
Perfect.
Privacy from neighbors.
Sure. So all great features of a great backyard. Featured and benefit, right? Big backyard. Ooh, I understand what a big backyard is, but what does it mean to me as a buyer, right? And that's how you articulate that into a well-described realtor or public remarks, okay? Like open floor plan, open kitchen. Great. What does that mean? Right? So get to entertain, get to be part of the party, get to, you know, feel like your home is great for guests or whatever, right? So, yeah, not just throwing it out there. And you guys, what I would do is to learn how to write these well is go and look at some really high-end listings. So when you look at guys over in West Van or West Side or just like there's people in our Coquitlam, people in our office that you appreciate those little subtle things. What are the words? What are the language? And what I would do is I would actually create a spreadsheet or a Google sheet just to be able to have some of that language that you can go back to help the juices flow when you're writing. Okay, so like certain words like, you know, what does cozy mean to you? Everyone's seen this on like Instagram, like cozy.
Well,
Right? So, and like, it's fun to make fun of that stuff too. So if you guys want to get some great content for TikTok or something, it's like, okay, what are the top, realtor remark realities or something like that? It's like, what does cozy mean? Or what is I can't think of it right now, but anyway, this is like, have some fun with it. Just be okay with knowing that if it's a fixer upper, it's like, bring a match, right? Or if it's handyman special, it's like, this is a dumpster fire, right? Don't expect to put some lipstick on it. You need to like start from scratch. So anyway, having fun with it, but knowing how to articulate that investment opportunity, those type of things, right? So know what products you're selling. Questions, thoughts? Yes. Okay, I'm doing a lot of talking today, it feels like. We got to get out of this. Okay, so you got that form just as an example of what you need. And so here's the questionnaire that I was going to bring up. So this was done for me a while back because I want to know who I'm dealing with. And you can create this and take your own version of it. I don't really think it's the most in date from looking at it, but at the end of the day, it's a starting point. So I go over the listing. I get obviously address, owner's names, contact, what the preferred method of contact is, how many household members or kids or pet names. If I'm really doing a good job of like organizing my database, I want to know their pets' names, their kids' ages, what schools they go to, because I can use that, right? I can use that later for something. So what their favorite wine is, what their favorite food is, what their favorite restaurant is. Any of this stuff is great info, right? So just making notes about the conversation. Okay, have a good day, thanks. And yeah, the more details you get, the better your database is, the stronger the relationship is. And that's what this whole business is about. So how long they live in the area, where they work, where they're planning to repurchase, if they sold before. This is actually a really key bit of information. Have they sold 15 properties? It's in the wiki site, Michael. At the end of the day, if they've sold more homes than you have, probably dull this down a bit and just make it simple and smooth. And they're going to probably know more than you about real estate, and not like in the capacity of the contracts and stuff, but about like the process. So don't try to like over educate them, because then they don't need it and it might actually end up backfiring. So just keep it simple. So what's their perfect time frame for closing, listing, all that? But this is what the point is. So all this is taken out of the data input that you need to put into Paragon. Okay, so when you're in web forms, you pull data input. You need to know what style of home, the basement, the suite, when the renos were, what type of renos. Get some details here for your marketing, anyways. Backyard exposure and so forth. How old? This isn't actually in Paragon, but it's really good to make note of it in the realtor remarks about the hot water furnace, roof, all that kind of stuff. If it's rain screen, parking. So just going through this, some of the stuff you might not sit there at the table and going through all of it with them. You might have already filled out half of it and you're just circling stuff while you're with them to make sure, oh, what type of flooring is it? Okay, the heating. Okay, they got a forced there. Perfect. That type of thing. So, and if you don't get it all, it's okay to call them back, but don't call back like 3 times and be like, hey, I forgot about this. What about this? What about this? So it's better to just qualify it all and say a couple things I need to get a little bit more details on. How old the appliances are, that kind of stuff, all helpful for your marketing. Thoughts? I paid an assistant to do this for me, to give to you, so use it. It's basically like having a little assistant here to make sure that it goes smoother at your listing presentation. So you can make your own version of this, obviously get the old branding out of there, but that's there for you, okay? Cool. Good talk. So who here has a listing presentation? I actually can't see anybody. I'm going to stop presenting for the moment. Not yet. Okay. So we've got Allison. Let me put it in the chat so I can see, because not everyone's hands are raised. I can't see your faces off you. Who's got the listing presentation? Allison. Anybody else? Brian. Okay. Michael has a copy. Have you presented it ever, Michael? You played with it? No. Okay. Maz? Maz, do you have a listing presentation yet?
Yes and no. Sorry. No, the one that I'd like to have, I'm still working on it. So
Okay, well, this is if you have something, I'd like you to go through it and get some feedback from your group and say, okay, here's what I like, here's what you could improve. Are you okay to do that?
yes, let me just find it. I had it for one of my clients I just presented. I didn't get that listing, unfortunately, but this is what I prepared that time for them.
Okay.
I should be able to find it. Just quickly, just give me a second. I'm gonna find it.
Alicia?
I don't know how bad or good is that, but this is what I prepared at that time.
Well, bring it up. We'll get you in a group.
Okay.
I want you to just be able to, like, this is your time to practice it. This is your time to go, okay, well, how many times have you presented it? I would say that you should do it 20 plus times in this group before you do it one time on the public.
Yeah. Actually, I just had a look and then went straight to the meeting.
So
I don't know.
I'm going to pick on you for a minute, Maz. So if you would say, would you call that winging it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I was
so-
not. I felt kind of. I was not fully prepared. Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's why it's like, okay, so if you're not fully prepared, bring someone with you that can close for you.
Yeah.
Right. So you call us, you call anyone that your sponsor, anybody, like bring someone along with you, because the outcome of that was you didn't take the listing, right? So you risk 100% for nothing versus take 50% and like a high likelihood of that. But more importantly, if you're winging it, are you okay to wing $10,000 commission?
Yes, absolutely. Or zero. Yes, I totally agree with you. That was at the beginning of my career. I was so excited, and I thought I would be getting that listing. And the guy went for the other guy, and that was only for the commission. And that's also, I was not prepared for the commission objection and this and that we have been talking throughout the class. But that was kind of, I believe I lost it because of only the commission, because I stayed in touch with that particular clients, and then when they sold, they didn't want to go ahead with the listing guy to buy a new property. Unfortunately, they didn't buy yet because the price has gone up. But the good things that they wanted to buy with me, but when I asked them, why didn't you list with me, then they said, because of the commission, we want to save money and so on. So that was, yeah, that was.
So a real quick way to handle that for everybody is if someone says this commission, aside from commission, is there any other reason why you won't work with me?
Yeah.
Right? You need to isolate that objection. And if you're in competition, you really need to determine, is there anyone else who is offering a stronger or more aggressive commission structure? If that's the case, is that going to be a deciding factor? And if it is, will you let me know? Because everything in this world is negotiable, right? So you just need to determine that. I would rather you guys took a listing at a discount. You get the buy side, you get potential 7 other opportunities for business, right? So take the damn listing, get the sign in the dirt, get the sign calls, get the internet leads, get the open houses, like get taking listings and just be comfortable with listings. And it's just a much better career for you. So, okay, Maz, you got a listing presentation to a degree. Michael, not quite ready to present. Alicia, do you have one?
I don't have anything that like a booklet. Mine is rather, like I have a professional biography. Someone helped me write it. So it's just bits and pieces that I haven't pulled together. And what I think that's gonna do is if I bring it, if I'm just all over the place, then I get the seller to control the conversation. I'm not taking them like step by step by step by step. It's more like, asking them, what do you want to know? That's not where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Well, you control the conversation is key. Asking great questions, but not.
But I don't have that nice flow. You know how you have, what is the buyer's market? What is the seller's market? How do we price it right? All the stuff like that.
Okay.
I can bring a CMA. I can talk about myself. I can bring a list of videographers and photographers. That's
Okay.
But I don't have something that flows nicely, like a package, well organized package.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so from what I understand, I've got Brian and Allison, and is it Alicia? Are you Kelly Fry? Do you have your?
Alisa, yeah, I have mine. Yeah, I've done a couple of presentations, and last listing I didn't get it because my seller had a very interesting expectation about the money they can get for the property. So I'm still gonna stay in touch with them, but I mean the property was really worth like maybe 950, like maybe 1 mil max, but they wanted to sell for 1.3. So I think they were pretty happy with the presentation. They just said like, well, you know what, we're gonna hold off on selling at the moment. We might come back to you, but like we're not really to sell right now.
Yeah, and so the only thing you can do with that, I'm sure Kelly's gone over with you, but for the group, is if you get their buy-in, like let's say they want to list at 1.3, the house is worth $1 million. You can say, okay, well, we'll try it at your price. We'll give you 15 days, 30 days, whatever you guys kind of decide is a reasonable amount of time, depending on what type of market it is. Say, after that, we're going to come down into reality of where we see the market being and go from there.
That's what I actually offered them. I said like, well, not exactly. I said, the market is hot right now. I was like, what about we list, close to 1 million, get as many people as we can and see what happens. Maybe we'll get that number.
Yeah.
And then, if it doesn't work, you don't get the number like, we had in mind, we'll relist it, and put it at 1.3. And so she did have that option. So, but still, I think they're trying to like, they're looking for another property to buy, and I don't think they're really like ready to sell.
That's probably exactly what it is. They're probably scared that if they sell, they're homeless. So they will find the motivation when they find the right home. But in the meantime, you just stay in touch, right? And you can't motivate people. Everyone gets the idea of pushing rope. That's what happens when you're taking overpriced listings and they don't have anywhere to go. So they're not going to actually come to reality, and you're just going to spend a bunch of time and money marketing and so forth. So it's not a great idea to do it. At the same time, in a seller's market, crazier things have happened, but you need to get their buy-in that they're willing to sell what the market value is. If they're like, if they're a someday seller, like if we were to get this price, then we'd sell, but we're not going to sell it for, 125 even. It's like, well, is that really worth your time? No. And is it worth your money, your risk of money? No. So I think you did the right thing by letting them go. What I would do is go, okay, well, let's go find you a great place. And then they're like, okay, if we can get that place and we have to do this, all of a sudden that reward is way more valuable, and they'll do whatever they have to do and sell for whatever they can to get to the next. So
my question is that how often do you follow up with this type of sellers? And like, can you like give an example, like, the typical conversation, for instance, I would call them once a month and say like, how would you be like not pushy and kind of, like just keep in touch with them? Like,
yeah, it's a good question. Depends on, I guess, partially the relationship. Like, are you feeling like they want to be fairly involved in a search? Like, are they wanting to look for places, or are they just going to wait for them to gain equity in their home before they start looking more? Like, if that could be like a 2 or 3 year window for that, then I would, everyone gets a, put on. So Kelly Fry, I'm sure you guys have a good follow-up plan for everybody. But if it's someone that's strong, if they're indicating that they want to start going shopping, and I'll put them on like what we call an 8x8, which is an MREA. You're going to talk to them 8 times over 8 weeks, right? Find something to talk about each time over 8 weeks, and then eventually they should turn into business. You've already done the appointment, so really probably put them onto a 33 touch, 36 to connect, whatever they call it now. That is just over the course of the year, you're going to talk to them 36 times, right? And we'll go into a little bit more details on that another time, but it's just, newsletters and CMA, like a monthly snapshot, and 4 phone calls, and letters and invites to client events, and they just become part of your follow-up program. So, but you would probably talk to them quarterly on the phone.
Quarterly. Okay.
Everything is kind of automated by emails and the team system, or you would create your own system, depending. So you guys should really understand what an 8x8 is. Read the book or Google it. And a 36 to connect, same thing. Those are crucial systems. You can do all this lead gen, you can do all this prospecting, but if you're not following up, you complete the circle and bring them into your world. You're just feeding a dish, and they're just like going back out, right? If you don't bring them in and hold them in your world, then you're doing all this hard, uncomfortable prospecting, and the only part is the first conversation. That's uncomfortable. After that, it's like, oh, hey, Allison, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on? How are you? Oh, great. How's the house? Okay, great. Anything new? Anything I can do for you? Any plans with the house? Any updates? Great. All right. Well, let me know if I can help. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you in a month or two. Whatever. That's it. That's not hard to do. It's the first time was like you just breaking the ice, right? Second date. So yeah, but if you guys don't have those in your business, that's a very strong, like I would today Google 36 to connect and 8x8 and start thinking about a follow-up system that's going to work for you. And don't overthink it, right? It's like some easy stuff. You're going to put them on a neighborhoods and command or a snapshot from Paragon. You're going to get a monthly newsletter out to them. That's already 24 emails out. That's plenty. Now you got to just a couple of phone calls and handwritten notes and some other stuff, and that's it. There's your 36 touches. But don't overthink it.
Can I ask one more question? Can you give an example how you ask for a referral? So it doesn't sound awkward.
I loved working with you. It's been a real pleasure. I really, so it's a past client. I'm just going with this one. Real pleasure. I'd love to know more people like you. So if you ever have anyone that's thinking about buying or selling, I'd really appreciate you connecting us. Call me and I'll follow up with them, because I know that way that it'll turn into the best relationship possible, because I take that very seriously, and I'm going to treat them just like I did you and take amazing care.
Thank you.
So who do you know right now? And then just stare at them.
Not
and so what you're doing is you're planting seeds, right? But people, their RAS kicks in, like the RAS is the back of your brain. They start talking about real estate and hearing real estate everywhere they go. And they start thinking, oh, Chris, yeah, he's a realtor. I'll connect them. And then you just create these referral sources, these amazing referrers, and you treat them like gold. So anyone that's going to refer you once is like, you can train that. So you're going to send over a GC. You're going to continue to follow up with them and say, thank you so much. Here's where it's at right now. I talked to your friend. They're actually really excited. We had a consultation. We're going to go looking at properties here soon, just getting their financing together. You should call them and congratulate them. They're excited and really appreciative of the connection. So if you have anyone else, here's what I do. I love working with people like you, and just keep feeding that. But imagine if you had 5 people in your world that were like that, and they each sent you 1 referral a year. And then next year they send you 2 referrals a year. And the next year there's 3 and 4, right? Exponentially. And then each of those people, so maybe next year you have 10 people. But that can be your lead generation, by the way. That's all you really need to do. You don't have to go knocking on doors. I mean, you should go knocking around your listings and stuff. And you shouldn't not just do that. But this should be one of the key things of your business model, is to work people that would already refer you. What I would do today, real quick, get out your phone and go through your phone, your favorites list, whoever it is. Who are the people out there? And then add these people to your favorites list, by the way. Who are the people out there that tell you every time they had a good meal, every restaurant they went to, every movie they saw you have to watch, every business you got to go check out? They are always on social media telling other people's stories, or they're just in your face with their opinion. Who are those people? You already have a couple people coming to mind. those are the people you should be spending the most time with, because they're going to start doing that to other people for you. And you got to reward them, and you give them a little, hand off some money or take them out to lunch or just like continuously in their face. Imagine if now you're in their RAS and they're going, oh my God, Alicia's is like the best. She always goes out there. She always helps out her clients. She's been amazing. I would always work with her, and she posts you on social media. She brags to you to the server that talked to her at the restaurant. If you have those people in your world doing that, imagine if they did it every month. Imagine you had 3 of those people every month that sent you a referral.
Yeah, I have one person who's really good. I think I got like 7 referrals this year.
I would be out for lunch with them monthly.
No, she gets I actually just asked her what gift card would you like for each client she sends me. I just
Cool.
whatever she wants, I just I pick the store and I'll send it to her.
Yeah, it's awesome. But that's how fun is that, right? So who here's sat down with a referral, and has anyone had the experience of having a referral come to you and be like, I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you for meeting with me. I know you're busy and I really don't want to take too much of your time, but I would really appreciate any information. Oh my God, thank you for sending that over. They're like this, you're on a pedestal. They think you're the smartest, coolest, most amazing person ever, and they want to respect your time, and they are really grateful for it.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
How does that feel? You're a professional. They look up to you. You have this license to print money, and they think that you're a god. Who here has talked to a for sale by owner? Who here has talked to a cold call, right? They're like, oh, who is this? Someone down. Oh, it's a realtor. Oh my, it's stuck to the bottom of my shoe. Oh my God. Right? So that's you're going to battle it out for commission with the other people versus a referrals whatever it costs to have your services. I'm so grateful. So that's the world you can live in, right? Focusing on the right activities. So anyway, let us, I think we'll just, go ahead, Alison.
I was going to ask you back when you said bring a seasoned professional with you. How do you introduce the seasoned professional into a listing presentation so that you don't look like you're not capable of doing it on your own?
It's your business. It's your partner. Your business partner.
Okay.
We partner together. This is Chris. This is Josh. This is Allison coming with me to. We do listings together because we believe you get 2 agents for the price of 1, and it's just a strong partnership. Whatever. I just use the word partner, and no one ever bats an eye. Is it all right if I bring my listing partner with me?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'll put the listing. You guys, what I would do is get your listing presentations organized and get in. So Michael, thank you again. You started a group chat. I think there's some people in there that you guys have been chatting and scripting and stuff. That's awesome. We have a Slack channel, but if you guys are using that, I don't want to butt in. You guys do whatever you're doing because this is your world to find scripting partners and role play partners. What I would do is on there, who wants to role play their listing presentation? When? Get that going. Be purposeful. There's a great group of people in here that can share knowledge. And Hiroshi, myself and Hiroshi would sit in the training center in our first few years of business, and we would just role play our listing presentation, role play our buyer consult, role play door knocking, role play expireds, role play objection handlers. Just every week, a couple times a week, we would meet for an hour or so and do it. It was fun. Halftime you're laughing at each other, oh, you tick stuff and make fun of each other, but you're helping. You're sharp. Iron sharpens iron, right? You're working together to become better. So this is a great group of people that can help you do that. Make sure it's fun, but be purposeful, be professional, and hold each other accountable and show up when you're supposed to do it, right? And if not, don't just leave people hanging there. Let's just treat people the way you want to be treated. Anyway, so I'll leave the scripting and role playing of the presentations to you guys to figure out a time to do. But I would say if you're not doing a couple times a week, you're going to start going to practice on the public, and that's not a good place to be. So if you're feeling like you're practicing on the public, you call us and we'll come out with you. Okay. If you're not ready, because I'd rather you guys set the appointment and you bring in a closer and get 50%. And it's so good to sit and listen and learn. Like I've sat with many different agents on your side, listening, going like, oh my God, that's so good. I'm taking notes what they say, like mental, I'll say that next time. And, oh, that's a good one. Right. So you just get these nuggets that you just don't get any other way than by sitting and being a fly on the wall. And again, learning how they build rapport. How do they walk the home? What kind of notes are they taking? What are the systems they use to talk about their marketing, whatever, right? Just like 100 little things that you just are, it's priceless information. So, let's do some CMAs. How about that? Awesome. Bad timing. You guys should be doing that any other time. You guys should be on here and then doing that. But appreciate you joining us back. Was that with Alvin?
That's with Alvin and just a couple of other peeps, Vijay and Nick, and then we're just scripting for commission cuts, telling how like why we need to get paid on this certain amount of commission.
So another agent said they're going to do it for less money.
Pardon me?
So another agent said they're going to list my home for less money. Will you do the same?
Well, taking that into consideration, that's a great thing that you're saying, Chris. But I'll put into perspective. You work as an electrician, right? And if you were to do a job that paid you $30 an hour rather than 15, would you do the same kind of services for that different comparative?
Probably not. You're right.
Right. So that person who's giving you 1% commission, they're probably not going to market it or get those beautiful pictures done as to where I am, and as well as I'm going to work even harder to get the negotiation so that we get you the top dollar for your amount. You might be losing, you might be saving that extra couple 5,000, but I might be making you 20 to 30 G's more on top of it.
That's a good point.
So don't you think that's a good idea to go with me?
I see your value. Yes. Good. And aside from commission, is there any other reason why you would not work with me today?
No. If everything looks good, the pricing looks good for you, do you think that we can sign this contract?
Good. Close. Good, man. Been working on it, right?
Yeah.
And now I threw you under the bus, but I figured you were sharp from you're right there. So good job.
Yeah.
Good job. That's fun. And that's like, guys, if there's ever a conversation that can make you money, that one right there, I can do a really good job of handling it. Let's just say that you end up having to give away 0.5 from 7.3 to 2.5 because you didn't handle that really well. So on $1 million place, that's $5,000, right? So if you can handle that strong and you keep the 0.5 or whatever, or you don't get the listing even, Jesus, but let's just say that you have to go down, how much is that nailing that conversation worth to you? Like if there's a hourly rate on a conversation skill to be able to handle, the commission objection is pretty damn strong. Is a $5,000, not just once, but for the rest of your career, being able to handle that. So practice that script, own it so that you can protect your commission and articulate your value well. And when you do a really good job of your listing presentation and you nail your value, you don't actually get that objection very often. Sometimes they'll just go, hey, I heard if you ask, you might get a discount. You go, no. That's kind of the end of that. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Thanks, dude. Let's do a couple CMAs real quick. We got some time. Does anyone have any? Because I have a bunch. So throw them in if you want, or I will do mine. Does anyone have any CMAs they're working on right now? Crickets. Perfect.
I've got one I'm working on.
Check it in.
Hey, Chris, I really struggle when it comes to like figuring out like you know, when you're adding like, so square footage versus lot size, sometimes I wonder, like, do people really see the value in, so say an 8,000 square foot lot versus a 6? Do you really, like, I would love to know what you come in on when you're entering your CMA as your priority. Is it like the age of the house? Is it the bedrooms? Is it the square footage? Is it the lot size? Same building, you know, like, because sometimes you can't like nail it perfectly with, so and you have to start eliminating things because the gear isn't super important if they've renovated it. Is that fair to say?
Yes and no. You can't. I mean, layouts you can't change, right?
Mhm.
More as much, right? Like a 1970s build or 60s or whatever. They're kind of compartmentalized, little small. They don't have, you know, as large of bedrooms, or they don't have en suites, or they're like a 2-piece ensuite only, or whatever, right? Those sort of things for age do matter. Yes, updates to homes do add value, but you know, you still have like pipes that are 40, 50 years old. You have electricity, like wiring and stuff can be issues. Like there's certain stuff that you can't fix in an old home that does add value to having it new, and especially if it's under warranty, or at least, you know, better quality materials and no asbestos or a lot of stuff like that. So age does matter. Size matters. So I've been told. So I think that with size, though, matters in certain aspects. It depends on where it is in the city. Depends on if it's zoned for, you know, if it's like wide enough for subdivision, for example, the frontage. If there's like those matter more than, you know, 6,000 versus 7,000. But if 7,000 versus 8,000, it's a 66-foot frontage, and now you can put 2 lots on there potentially or eventually, then that matters. That's a big long-term opportunity for growth. And sometimes there's easements or covenants that will then hinder the ability to rebuild or subdivide or whatnot. And as a buyer's agent, you better figure that stuff out, right? As a listing agent, yes, you need to promote it, but buyer beware, caveat emptor, you must know this stuff, or you might end up overpaying for something and you can't do it. And that's pretty important. So does that answer your question? Sort of. Brian, did you want to do your CMA for us? With us? We'll help you.
Okay. It's 7982 Willow. I am just putting it up now, actually.
7982. So do you want to share your screen and we'll help you? I can do mine. If you don't know how to do it easily, it's fine. I just like it when you work the mouse, so you kind of get the.
Right. Just tell me how I can share my screen and I'll do it.
So on the bottom, there's the 6, 7 icons there. Next to the hand is the little box that points up. Click on that and say, yeah. Okay. And either a window, and then you can share. You may have to increase the size of your screen a little bit.
Let's see.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so walk us through. You already got a little bit of stuff in there, so walk us through what you're doing and go for it.
So I was looking at actives and sold in Mission. What I always do is I go back and I look here to see what the subdivision is or the sub area. This one just says Mission, BC. I know there's not a lot, so I just type in what's there and that's what I select. So this is the subject property here. Now they're doing offers today, which is why I'm doing this CMA, because I want to know what would be a good offer to go in with, or at least get a sense of what it's worth. So where am I? So it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, 1976. So I went in and done 3 and 5 bathrooms, 1 and 3. Give it a 20 year span for year built. I've got 53, and I'm just going to see what's there.
Okay. How many Okay, 53. So let's go back to criteria. Sorry, I just had to
Okay.
up there real quick. So ideally, what do we want to carve it down to?
Sorry, I'm getting just a message here. Holy cow. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay.
Hi, Michael. I'm just in a meeting period. I'll call you back in afternoon.
Sorry, Chris, what were you asking?
Oh, just trying to figure out how many people we actually want to have, like how many properties want to be carved down to. So,
I mean,
yeah,
5 to
like,
7, 8.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, like under 12 for sure, and then you can peel off a few from there, and 10 sort of the goal.
So do I keep willing it down by like lot size and square footage?
Yeah, you could probably. So your age is probably less important than lot size at this point. To be fair, I would keep because Mission's got some older homes in there, so I would actually get rid of the age for now. In general, as you're built.
Okay.
So she's 500. Yeah, you might go 5 to 8 for lot.
Okay.
You can always carve down. So you got 90 days back, and that might even be a little long. We'll see. Keep it there for now.
Okay.
That rebed. So what do you got for size of the home? Nothing yet. So, it's 1,800 square feet. So I'd probably like 2,500 max for grand total. That's, the next one down is grand total, and then max. Next one over. That's, okay. So the idea is to carve it down, right? So now you got 60. We got to get way down. So you can stick an age. I go minimum 20 years, which is, and then 55. Maybe go minimum 30. That'll put it at 96, right? Or 91. 91. Yeah. And then, well, you can't, that's not gonna work. So, yeah, you're in the max. So
right.
You can even leave that. It doesn't really matter. I just don't want to compare to stuff too new.
Okay.
And then, so maybe carve now the lot size a little more. So now go from 5,500 and, 7,500, say. And you're in Mission, BC only? Yeah. Okay. FA3. Okay. So one other thing you can do is click on the map, mapping there.
What? Who?
The mapping. So the second one down is mapping. Click on that. So just for people, because not everybody knows Mission very well. So I just want to. So now click on. So there's 3 layers there, next to draw, just above your mouse there, just over one. 3 layers. Now you see the FREB sub areas on. Click on that real quick. Now you're gonna see where Mission BC is. So scroll out a little just so people can get it. So it's fine to use Mission BC in this sense because it's like massive. So the thing is, it's too big. So you may want to narrow it down to homes that are a little closer to the actual property now. So if you're in like Vancouver West Side or East Van or Surrey or Tri-Cities, even like Coquitlam specifically, you can really figure out sub areas to help you with that. And sometimes like what happens is like right on the line of one sub area to the next. So the sub area doesn't always make sense to use that as your mapping. Sometimes you want to actually use that drawing tool to be able to help out. So you can go back to the criteria, or actually zoom in a bit on the map, and let's just figure out where this actual property is. You guys can follow along if you have Paragon. Obviously, if you don't, then just you do this on your own. But so it's actually fairly far east in Mission. So yeah, so you might go from like Cedar to Cherry to 7th and draw a map there. Does that make sense? So you just draw a box or rubber band or whatever, and you still start at Cherry and pull it down, and then go, yeah, and just gather those ones. Those are going to be a little, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Too much or what?
It's okay. I mean, we'll see. Let's see what it comes up as. So how many got now? 16. So you can carve from there. That's okay. So like, obviously looking at the bottom of the top, just using the low end at 810, that's like there's something going on there. I can tell you it's either a grow op or it's like it's probably just a little too low for what it is. Oh shit, that's us. Sorry.
That's
it. Yeah, it's priced really sharp. It's the best deal in town. So go figure. It's gonna sell for. I mean, the lowest sale right now is at 885, 881, 9. So you're probably in the, without even looking, you're probably gonna now exceed the lowest sale just from what the market's doing. Does that make sense? Unless this is absolute garbage, but that's a smaller lot, isn't it? No, it's not. Bigger lot, bigger home. Okay. So Bacade Bar, that's a busier street. That's already a better. So just looking at that right now. And so here's a real quick thing. What does everybody see under price? What colors are we seeing? What's it?
3.
Everybody's like, yeah, there's only the Dunsmuir that's dropped their price, obviously, but they're still active, so something going on there. But look, everything has sold over asking. So that's a good education tool for your buyer, your sellers, anybody. Just like, hey, this is what we're seeing. Multiples. So pretty hot market you're entering into. So check out Juniper. Just kind of quickly rip through it. So actually, sorry, let's do it with the group because not everybody has access to this. Can you please look through? Did you look through the photos for Willow for everybody to? And let's be ruthless as realtors. You get to be. So if you make it large, yeah, good. So
I go.
That's okay. That's fine. Everybody can see it. Yeah. So, what do you like, guys? Just call out comments. This is interactive. What do you think of the flooring, the paint, the original wood fireplace, staging, kitchen, nice orange cabinets, dated, right? Kind of a couple different floorings going on, original chandelier. So it's clean. Looks like it's move-in ready, I'd say, for someone. You were inside it?
No, not yet.
No. Okay. So a little bit of updates in the bathroom. I got to feel that shower stall's probably, oh, it's actually better than I expected. What? That's too much. Take it back. My wife just brought home 200 pieces of candy. This is a stupid idea. We won't. We'll have 4. Damn it. I'm going to get so bad. Okay. Weak. Yeah, so backyard, decent little yard, nice little deck. Hopefully it's in good shape. Nice view. So the view adds some value. Nice glass railings there. Hopefully they're secure. So that view might actually have a little price tag on it, to be fair.
Can you talk a bit more about that? Because I encountered a situation where I was not able to determine the value of a view very well. So can you kind of talk me through that a bit?
Here's the thing. I have young kids, and I tell people that have kids, you're not going to enjoy this view. Your head's down chasing little people. And you're going to pay for something that someone wants to sit on their balcony and sip a glass of wine and read a book and look out of their view and enjoy and have guests over and be able to sit there on the view. But that view, you're paying for someone else who may be retired or like having more time on their hands. And like that view may not make sense for you. So like, does that view add value to your life? Not as much as other people's, perhaps. Maybe you're like really into astronomy or something. I don't know. So it does. But at the end of the day, what does a view mean to you as a buyer or to a seller? So certain people will absolutely say a view is very important, but not everybody, right? Certain people don't care about a backyard. Certain people don't care about whatever. But so there's not necessarily like a tangible value on a view, but you're saying it's a bonus. So if the house next to it had a bunch of trees in front of it or was lower and didn't have the view, then yes, it's a bonus. What the amount a certain buyer is willing to pay is absolutely up to them. Does that make sense?
It does, but let's just say there was two homes, practically identical within a block of each other. One had a stellar view. Say one went for 8. What would the one with the view go for? You know what I mean? Like is it a percentage? Like, is it going to get 10% more?
What's the view for starters? Is it ocean view? Is it mountain view? Is it like an absolute awesome.
Fair question.
Untouched. So like every view is different. Every buyer is different. Every property is different. But I mean, what would you pay for that view? As I would just ask directly, what's it worth to you? Would you pay an extra $50K for it? In this situation, probably $30K. I don't know. It's kind of a rule of thumb. If it was in West Van, probably $3 million, right? So it all kind of depends on how great the view is. Is it like just sometimes you walk into a house and you're just like, oh, it's like you just walked and your eyes just go directly to, there's some places out in Silver Valley or something like that where just, they're way expansive views of the whole lower mainland. Like, yeah, you're going to pay $100K for that view, maybe. I don't know. And would you? I wouldn't, because I have young kids. I don't get to sit and enjoy a view. So it doesn't matter to me. But someone that's 50, the kids don't want to hang out with them anymore. PDS says moisture and gas moisture problems. Is that what it said? Read it. Thanks, Alicia.
Yeah, just scrolling through PDS there. It says seller is aware of where was it? Moisture and/or water problems in the walls, basement, or crawl space, and problems with electrical and gas system.
Those are big ticket items. Yeah, I was just looking back at the one. There's like an office up or downstairs. It looks like the roof is open. You can see all the insulation. And then there's another with the washing machine room. Like maybe they just never finished it, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of some red flags there at least. More the one with the roof being cut open. That siding looks really mildewy, hopefully, not just rotten. I have to get that. Yeah, I might want to get it inspected, but I don't think you have time. So now you assume the worst, right? Okay, so back to the rest of the properties. So you guys have seen it. Just kind of figuring out what the quality is versus. So now go back to the second property. And so we're kind of running out of time here. So I'm gonna put you on fast forward a bit. So Juniper being 870, the next one. Let's have a quick look at that.
Sorry, I was just on the phone there. I'm off. Okay, what? Let me catch back up.
Okay,
Sorry,
check
what?
out Juniper real quick.
Juniper?
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, okay, good. Go ahead. So minimal updates. Same condition, we'll say, give or take. Nice flat yard.
Looks like that's it.
That's it. Okay, so go to the listing real quick. Okay, so yeah, similar size lot, same age, same bathrooms, same like little larger, so 400 square feet bigger. So that's 870. Do you know what's happened with them? I would call that listing agent and say, what's going on? You have an accepted offer. Check out the realtor comments real quick.
Sold 975.
Jesus. Okay, so there you go.
The next one.
So yeah, you may be just south of that 950-ish then, if you're a little large. Like, I mean, again, but now you got the view. That's probably the only thing. And then because of that moisture and stuff, maybe it's like, 9.25 to be safe. So Dunsmuir 820, 119 on market. There's something going on here. Is it a grow op or something?
Oh, it's sold as well.
Okay. Inquire about the sold price. Just send a touch base.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nice updates for 1930 house. That's funny. I have another listing coming on Dunsmuir as soon as it can de-hoard. But that could be another year. So that's good news for her. Yeah. Bruce, we got 885, sorry, back in August. So larger
Lot, yeah.
But that was August. So like really August is a whole other animal, right? Like I think the 90 days back is too far now. So I would 60 is probably good. There's our 11. I like it. Where did Badger come from? Oh, what happened? Okay. 667. Huh. Okay. All right. So seeing that Adams 967. Okay, good luck, Agam. Good job today. Appreciate it. Go get him, brother. All right, 975, 6100, 21. So a little larger home.
Reynolds in 2015.
Yeah, so it's probably a nice complaint. So quickly rip through the photos. Yeah, modest renos.
Yeah,
There's enough lipstick. Wash it around. We got a suite.
let's see.
Separate entrance. Sweet. Okay. So you got a suite at 967. I'll give you $50K for the suite. It's a okay, another one. Good comp as far as size, lot, house, age, bathrooms. Oh, thanks a lot. Similar competition or condition, sorry. Cade Bar is a bit of a busier street, so that might add 40 or 50K to that price point. I don't know what this is 3,174. So I think Cade Bar probably pushes Willow over the 900 mark, if that makes sense. At 881, at least 30K, I bet. So probably 910-ish. So I just kind of keep a running tab of these in my head right now, but I'll be writing down a little bit of the features here and say, okay, well, K-Bar, here's why I think it's here. Here's why I think Adams pushes it south because it's got the sweep by 50K. So again, that kind of lines up to 920. So all signs so far pointing to, thanks, Harshbeer. Take care, bud. It's all signs pointing towards like just over 900, say. Again, what's the view worth to you? You want extra? What's the risk of having some really nasty moisture issues? Are you going to see it today, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a moisture meter? Does Omid have one?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Wait,
here?
Yeah. So here, I think this is a really good tool for you guys to have. And in these markets, especially, because here's what happens is you're going to go out and now you got, I would be sticking this thing in every damn wall and just touching everywhere you can to figure out what's going on with the moisture. The ideal is have an inspector comes in with his thermal gun and he can actually see through the walls, right? But so yeah, anyway, here's a couple options. You can get it from Amazon for cheaper, but maybe you guys could pick it up on the way out there or something that might be helpful. It's good to have anyway. I have a Klein one. I don't see any of them on this, but I'm not going to waste any time. You have to figure it out. Probably don't have time, but just an idea, you know.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. So yeah, I think right now I would budget for 9 to 9.25 and just determine how much your guy likes it, what he's willing to do. Is he a contractor? Can he handle that kind of stuff? Are they like first-time home buyers going to be scared to crap and don't overpay for it then? It kind of depends on your buyers and then you walking through the house and like, I mean, give it a sniff test, right? Like, is there mold smelling, mildew? Like how moist are we talking? And then your price is going to kind of plummets from there, I guess. But yeah, that water is like the killer of a home, right? Like you could have a leak for like 20 years. It's just slow behind the walls and it's just like causing like tons of damage slowly, right? Like a leaky toilet, someone just didn't put a seal on properly. They can do so much damage. So you gotta just kind of be cautious when you hear water. It's not a good thing. So yeah. Anyway, hope that was helpful. There's a version of it. Hopefully helps you, buddy. Yeah.